On Saturday, we got a little bit closer towards our goal of promotion, and a win today against Derby would be a huge leap forward. Hello, good evening and welcome to Home Park. This is Argyle TV, and if we play anything like the last time we played Derby County, then boy are we in for a treat this evening. Argyle and Derby are two sides that definitely have their eyes on the prize this season. The prize, of course, being promotion into the Championship, but it is Argyle who are in the driving seat at the moment. Saturday's 2-0 win over Charlton, only a few days away, and a memory that I think is still sticking around in everyone's minds. That's given us a nice 5-point cushion to third place, and maybe more importantly 10-point gap in tonight's opposition. It's another sellout this evening. Home Park has been very popular as of late, and another massive game and another great night in store for you all this evening. We've got a lot to get through between now and kick-off, which is happening at 8 p.m. tonight. Bali Mumba tries to put his finger on why our form here has been so good. Stephen Schumacher, of course, talks about the task of beating Derby, and we will also be joined by former Argyle favourite Steve Castle. And helping me get through all of that this evening is none other than Ian Stonebridge, Argyle TV regular. Ian, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, good, thanks, Erin. I've got plenty of layers, maybe too many layers for the walk here, but I think I'll need them later on. So.
Yeah, we were discussing that earlier. It's supposed to be a bit of a bitter night, but I don't think it's hampered anyone's spirits, has it? The Green Army is still turning out in force, as demonstrated by the sellout.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be another great night, I'm sure, and with a packed ground, you know, really big game. You know, as far as games go, we know there's going to be some big games between now and the end of the season, but it feels like a really big one tonight. Yeah,
myself and Katie were speaking on Saturday here when we were playing Charlton, and just how important that was coming off the back of Argyle's previous defeat, and then knowing that this game was just around the corner as well. Why is this, you know, such a big game for Argyle in the whole scheme of things?
I think it's really about the teams that are kind of lining up behind Argyle, you know, gunning for those automatic promotion places. We know Sheffield Wednesday now look like they're fairly comfortable and they're on a really good run, and you know, it might be that they're gonna open up a bit of a lead, but in terms of that chasing pack, it feels like Derby are an important club. You know, they've obviously got ambitions to go back into the Championship themselves, so it does feel, in the context of the rest of the season, that to get a result tonight against Derby would be a really big boost at this stage.
Yeah, and casting our minds back to Saturday, how crucial do you think Saturday's win was in the lead up to this game in particular?
Yeah, it's really important. You know, I think it's been said before, most of the time Argyle this season have been able to bounce back after disappointments, and I think firstly being at home, but again being against the club in Charlton, although their league position doesn't show it at the moment, another big club in this league. So another tough game, great result. Great to see Ryan Hardy getting another goal as well, and hopefully he can take that form into tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say when you've got to play the games as we grow, ever closer towards the end of the season, and you're playing games where you're rubbing shoulders with people that are in similar positions, jostling for that spot near the top of the table, it does add an extra element of pressure to everyone, doesn't it? Particularly the fans who, while they're looking forward to tonight, I'm sure will equally be nervous. No one's underestimating this Derby side, are they?
No, definitely not. I'm nervous. As soon as I finished my last lecture up at Marjohn's today, I was, started to feel a bit of the buzz, and coming here tonight, it's first of all, it's the occasion. It's fantastic. We love the night games here. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and yeah, nervous about the game, but also confident that Argyle can bring home the goods tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Argyle have developed a reputation certainly this season of holding their own when it comes to playing games at home park. They really do want to keep up that run of wins here at home in front of the fans. Do you think that kind of atmosphere around them is something that is going to help them through to ideally achieve that tonight?
Yeah, I'm sure it will. It's a fantastic run of results, and most importantly wins. It's the sheer number of wins that makes the difference in that, and the contribution that's made to the league position is huge. So they'll definitely want to maintain that. Teams have to travel when they come here in the same way that Argyle have plenty of miles to do when we go up the road for our away games. It's the boots on the other foot when we're at home, and maybe some teams haven't dealt with that so well across the season, and that can go to our advantage.
And of course we've got two games in relatively close succession, both being played at home park, which presumably is slightly beneficial to Argyle in the sense that, as you've mentioned, they're not the ones that have had to travel this week. People are coming to us. Yeah,
the quick turnaround from Saturday to Tuesday is challenging, even just by taking the 90 minutes into account. But yeah, you're right. When you add in the travelling that Derby have had to do, it's another problem. I'm sure once the players get out on the pitch, they'll put it out of their minds, but there's no doubt that it could play a part in who's fresher at the end of the game today.
Mm-hmm. And we're going into tonight off the back of a win rather than a loss like we were on Saturday, and it's a sellout crowd again here at home park. Do you think that's testament to what the club is capable of?
It is. I said I was nervous about the game, but in lots of ways that's a great thing.
Yeah.
That's why the club is selling out these games. We're at the right end of the table. The whole city's excited about what the club could potentially achieve this season, and every home game is a chance for the Green Army to come and get behind. So it's no surprise to see the ground sold out again, and again, fingers crossed we can put on a good show tonight.
Yeah. We saw, a few changes on Saturday in Stephen Schumacher's side. He kind of went for a bit of a I don't want to say older squad because it's not really the right word to use, but maybe a more tried and tested a squad that wasn't comprised of, I don't think we had any of the January signings actually in the starting 11. He's kept to a similar format tonight in that we're only seeing one change from that team to today's team. We'll have a quick look at it, and then me and Ian can go through it for you. So your starting 11 for Argyle tonight, just got to get my frozen fingers to get the team sheet out, is Callum Burton, Macaulay Gillespie, Jordan Houghton, James Wilson, Matt Butcher, Joe Edwards, Ryan Hardy, Danny Mayer, Bali Mumba, Finn Azaz and Nigel Lonvike. And on the bench, Adam Parks, James Bolton, Niall Ennis, Michael Miller, Ben Wayne, Callum Wright and Jay Matete. So as we mentioned, Ian, Nigel Lonvike in for Brendan Galloway is the only change in the starting lineup. What do you think the thought process is behind Stephen Schumacher's decision-making going into tonight?
Yeah, we have over, perhaps since Christmas, talked quite a bit about the amount of rotation that was happening, and I think, like you said, I was trying to think of the right word to describe it. It felt like almost like a retro team back to the start of the season, wasn't it? But in a good way as well. Yeah. And you look at the strength on the bench; it's great to see. But also, the relationships that those players in that starting 11 tonight have built up across the year. Danny Mayer and Finn Azaz in behind Ryan Hardy. It was a really exciting combination, really productive combination for Argyle earlier in the season. So it's good to see that, and I think the slight rotation at the back might just be a case of managing Brendan Galloway's fitness and his workload. So again, people stepping into those roles that know what's expected, know the team, know how to play. So yeah, I think it's a strong, and I'm really optimistic tonight.
Yeah, and another name worth mentioning, while not a direct change, is the lack of Sam Cosgrove in the team sheet this evening. We spoke about it just before we went on air. Sam Cosgrove, obviously present previously when we played Derby. What do you think the decision making not to see him? It might come as a surprise to some people.
Yeah, it's tricky to know. You know, we don't know if something might have happened in training in terms of a little injury or something, or again it could just be a case of you know, them deciding these other players need to have that opportunity. Again, managers and coaching staff do at times have to make judgments based on training, and maybe again it's been performances in training that have just made their mind up in favour of someone else on that bench tonight, and that might just be the case. But again, you know, if we're in a position where a fit Sam Cosgrove is being left out, it does say something about the squad in terms of its strength in depth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've said before there are certainly worse problems to have than having too many people to choose from. Let's look at who we are up against this evening then in the form of Derby County. Their team comprises of Joe Wildsmith, Craig Forsyth, Conor Hurahan, Ian Cashin, Tom Barhusen, David McGoldrick, Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, Corey Smith, Hayden Roberts, Harvey White and Jason Knight, and on their bench Luke McGee, James Collins, Liam Thompson, Louis Sibley, Lewis Dobbin, Tony Springer and Curtis Davies. You mentioned before, Ian, you know, you like many other people nervous going into this evening. Derby have put together this squad that you see before you. What are you making of it?
Yeah, they're undoubtedly a strong team. As we said, they're a big club at this level, so budgets-wise, you'd expect them to assemble a strong squad. They've got players with real quality in there. David McGoldrick's, you know, absolutely a huge danger. Been a prolific goal scorer this season. You know, he's dangerous. He'll lead the line really well for them tonight, I'm sure. So it's really important, you know, Argyle's defenders that communicate and, you know, don't allow him space in and around the goal. He's really dangerous in those sorts of areas. And Conor Hurahan, obviously, former Argyle player coming back. He's got a lot of quality, you know, for a club in League One level. He's someone who's been playing in the Premier League fairly regularly, fairly recently. You know, and after starting his career here, has had a really, you know, really successful time. Played lots of games at a good level. He's got, you know, a bit of a wand of a left foot, so we need to look out for him tonight as well.
Here he is. Hi, Pete. Are you keeping nice and warm? Yeah, I could tell. Go on then. 1-0. No, a bit more reserved than Saturday. He went for 2. Actually, having said that, Pilgrim Pete went for 2-0 on Saturday and he was bang on the money. Brilliant. So Pilgrim Pete the Oracle, may he bless us with a 1-0 win today. Back to our opposition this evening, Ian. Derby 10 points behind Argyle at the moment, and they have lost their last 2 away games. Do you think they will have a little bit more to prove in that respect? Yeah,
it's a big game for both teams. It may be, if you were an absolute neutral, you'd say it's almost more important for Derby to get the win tonight than it is for Argyle. You know, while we know Argyle won't be going out to try and get a draw, ultimately a draw for them tonight would probably not be a bad result. However, Derby, if they don't get all 3 points tonight, it starts to look for them like automatic promotion is kind of gradually fading out of the picture for them. So I'm sure they'll be coming here tonight confident and trying to get the win, but equally we know from recent results that they can be vulnerable, and fingers crossed Argyle can make the most of that.
Yeah, I mean, Argyle definitely have the Green Army on their side. I have seen online that some of the other clubs that are circling around us at the top of the table, I think fair to say probably on Derby's side this evening, but not that matters. It's all what happens on the pitch. Saturday's win is something that did happen on the pitch just behind us, and it went down very well with the fans. It is another example of the mentality of this side, and in the 5 defeats that we've had this season, we've bounced back to win 4 and draw 1, which is something Stephen Schumacher is very happy about.
The way that the players have responded and the way we've reacted, I think we've got 13 points now, have we, out from the 5 from the games right after the 5 defeats. So that's a really good record, and it shows that we don't dwell on things, or you know, the odd bad performance that we have had has been maybe a blip. We put in a good performance on Saturday, but that's gone now, and we need to make sure that our standards are right for Tuesday night, because Derby County coming here are one of the best teams in the division. It's got so many good players and such a strong squad, so yeah, we have to forget about all of that, forget about starting a run, just focus on trying to win this next game.
The reverse fixture, this one was pretty spectacular. I'm guessing, well, I don't want that similar sort of thing to happen because my heart probably won't take it, but it was such a great game, wasn't it? Does that sort of epitomise what Derby and us are like a bit?
Well, I'd say they're completely different now, because Paul Warne went in pretty much, not right away after that, a couple of games maybe after that. I know he went in September time, didn't he? And yeah, they're a different outfit now. They look a completely different sort of style. And we know what Paul Warne's teams are always like. They're always like super fit, really well organised, and pretty much since he's been in there, they've been on a upward trajectory, if you like. So I can't see there being too much comparisons from the game. What I do remember from that game, though, is that we were really good on the day, which again, against a strong Derby County squad, everyone's got to be on top of their game, and I felt that we did play well on the day, even though we went 2-0 behind. I remember going in at half-time thinking, we're still in this game, and thankfully we had, enough in us to go and get 3 goals in the second half, and we scored. Sam Cosgrove scored 2 late on, which was a brilliant start for him. I think it was his debut, so yeah, it was a good day, that one.
But a lot's been made about the home record, and obviously this is another home game, another sellout. Have you ever experienced anything like what we've seen this season at home? I think 2 games, the only 2 games we've dropped points in out of 17 is remarkable.
Yeah. No, it's a really good record, and it's one we're really proud of, and everybody plays the part in it. So obviously the players, first and foremost, they're going out and performing and putting in real good performances every week or nearly every game to get us the amount of points that we've had, and then the fans play a huge part in it, and they're coming in and backing us and sticking with the team pretty much throughout the whole of the home games, and yeah, we've rewarded them with some real good points. So we know how strong we are here. We know it's not an easy place for teams to come. A lot of teams don't really like coming down here, so we have to take advantage of that and get as many points as we can, because people forget we have to travel so far every other week, sometimes twice in the same week, and that takes a lot out here. So the points that we can get away from home are massively important, but it's even more important that we get as many as we can here.
Stephen Schumacher talking there, Ian. There has always been a reaction from him and from the club after a defeat, and thanks to the result on Saturday, I can now, confirm and say there have been no back-to-back losses this season, which is a great achievement, isn't it?
It's brilliant, and that's a big reason why they are where they are in the league. Not having a bad run as such at any point really this season is certainly an achievement in itself. Coupled with the really good home record here at Home Park that we've already mentioned, it's a huge thing for the team. It says a lot about their character of the players themselves, but also the coaching team around them as well. That they've got that resilience, they've got that togetherness, that they're not dwelling on negative experiences. They don't take it to heart if they have a bad game. They're able to get back on track, back to what they've shown they can do really well this season. It's been great to see.
And I suppose that really, rather about physicality on the pitch and tactics and things like that, that's more of a mental and like a positive mindset, isn't it, within the club, to make sure that players are not dwelling on maybe individual performances if they know they've not performed as they would have hoped, and similarly for Stephen Schumacher to walk away with a loss, not letting that affect him.
It definitely is a psychological thing, and it's about the staff and the players around each other, like you said, not getting down about a negative thing, and actually, it sounds a bit like a cliche, but worry about the things you can control, and those things will be the next performance or the next thing you do on the pitch. And I think all of these players are good footballers. That's why they're in the game. That's why they're professionals at clubs. But like you said, the psychological aspect of being able to bring out that performance, when it really counts, when you are under pressure. That's been the difference this season that Argyle have shown they've been able to do.
Yeah, and one of the other things that was mentioned there was Argyle's home form, which we did speak about briefly at the top of this show. I mean, what do you make of it? Argyle, a couple of losses that we've had at Home Park this season, it's almost not really, it's negligible, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things. They have very much made Home Park a bit of a fortress this season, haven't they?
They have, and for me it's been about finding a way to win, even when sometimes the performances haven't been great. You think about some games, or the Exeter derby here. That was a great, exhilarating night. But Argyle didn't necessarily play particularly brilliantly on the night. And in seasons gone by, we wouldn't have won those games. It seems like this squad and the coaching staff have that togetherness. They have that ability to find a slight change or a tweak or a bit of skill that creates a chance to enable them to win these games. And like you said, putting that run together at home, the sheer number of wins they've had has been fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly means that you end up with nights like this where Home Park is a sellout and people are really looking forward to coming. Maybe though, obviously there's going to be some of you watching at home this evening who aren't able to be here this evening, and we would very much like to hear from you wherever you are watching Argyle TV from all over the world. Get in touch with us on social media. We've got loads of different social media channels you can get in touch with, but as I always say, Twitter is the only one they trust me with, so if you want to get in touch with me direct and have a message read out, that is the one to do it on. Let us know wherever you are, whatever you're doing, your score predictions, your thoughts on the game. We would absolutely love to hear from you. You are watching Argyle TV with me, Erin Black, and Ian Stonebridge. And coming up next, we will be joined by Steve Castle. Welcome back. Joining us now on Argyle TV is former midfielder Steve Castle and our very own Mark Edworthy. Hello guys, welcome, welcome. And Steve, very nice to have you with us. You've picked a good game to come to this evening.
Let's hope I have, yeah. And obviously just reminded me, obviously this man next to me played for both teams, so probably a very educated guide on how we're going to do. But no, it's really good. I've been, it's the first time I've been down for a league game for God knows how long, and I've been really been made welcome, so it's been great.
So it's been a while then since you've been to Home Park and seen Argyle play. What are you making of the whole setup at the moment? It's
a championship setup at least, and hopefully the team can get themselves up. That is, I'm sure that is the requirement. I look from afar from obviously their results and everything like that. It all looks good. It seems a very tough game tonight, but they're all tough this stage of the season.
Yeah, if we take a step back from tonight's game and go back to you, both played in the same side here in the early 90s. Good memories of that period?
Brilliant, yeah. And I mean, we were quite renowned for attacking football. We scored a hell of a lot of goals in that period of time. Probably our downfall at times where we probably didn't sort of have any idea, sort of looking at defending, but or the defensive side of things. But it was very entertaining. That's what I think would be classed as the era that we were at.
Yeah. I think for everyone watching at home, we're going to be able to look back at some of your goals now. It's a shame we can't show them to you and you can relive them live here at the side of the pitch. But are there any particular games or goals, Steve, that you look back on that really stand out for you?
Yeah, I was lucky enough. I got, I was scored quite a few. Managed to get 2 hat-tricks and one of them in 6 minutes. So, that's obviously nice highlights. But the general feeling was for me, it wasn't just about the goal scorer. Obviously, that's always seems to get the highlights. But it was there were some fantastic footballers. This man was just progressing into the team, and obviously had an unbelievable career after that as well. So nothing but positives from the group, and obviously what went on after that as well.
Yeah. Now, Steve, you mentioned obviously Mark next to you, former Derby player. Mark, Who are you supporting this evening?
Well,
There is a right answer.
Firstly, compliment Stevie. Thank you very much for those nice comments. But now, going back to Stevie as well, great goal scorer. As you said, 2 hat-tricks for the midfield. Goal scoring midfield players today, he'd be worth millions, wouldn't he? So now led by example, great captain in the 90s for the team. And like Steve said, he went on himself and had a great career. So great to see him back again. We haven't seen each other for a long time. And fond memories we had back in the 90s. So, yeah, great to see him back here. And obviously, he's doing well in management. So congratulations on that side and good luck for the rest of it. In tonight's game, Erin, it's a massive game, isn't it? We said 12 games to go. Realistically, mathematically, if Plymouth win 11 games, we get promoted. It's not as easy as that, as Steve will tell you now as management.
It sounds great when you say it like that.
It sounds great, it does. But Derby have got to win here tonight, I believe. They have been great on the road. I thought they were going to go up automatically purely because the stature of the club and the quality of players they've got. But as we know, Plymouth here at Home Park have been magnificent. They've only lost once all season to Port Vale. So I think it's important we don't lose tonight. If Plymouth go and win the game tonight, I think, and get a result against Barnsley the weekend, I think really we're heading in the right direction to get those automatic places.
Yeah, and having a look at, you've been a guest on Argyle TV several times before, Mark. They're just going from strength to strength, aren't they, this season? The club as a whole, how it operates. Me and Ian were talking before about how they just bounce straight back if they, have a little blip with the loss that we saw last week. Do you find that, as a whole, is hopefully going to take them all the way to promotion?
Yeah, I think you've got to. If you're going to get promotion, you can't afford to dwell on mistakes and defeats. I think when we lost to Peterborough 5-2, that was a heavy defeat, and we played Fleetwood, who were 17th in the table. And that's the thing, Erin, in this league. They were 17th when they came here, Fleetwood, and they looked like they were in the top half of the table. They're so unpredictable, this league, and you can only beat what's in front of you. So the point against Fleetwood ended up being a great point. We lost against Peterborough, but then we bounced back and got a fantastic result against Charlton. I think that home in the weekend give us more confidence again tonight going into a really tough game against Derby County.
Yeah, and Steve, you mentioned before, about Home Park looking like a championship stadium with the championship setup. From, what you've observed of Argyle this season, I'm sure you'll be even better placed to say it after the match, seeing them, in the flesh tonight. But do you think Argyle have got the whole package to take them to the championship come the end of this season?
Yeah, as you say, but probably make a better judgment after the game. We haven't seen at length any of their play, but just the general feeling about the place is very, very upbeat. The facilities are just second to none. I can't believe the pitch. It certainly wasn't like that when we were out there. But no, everything about the place, it just smells of success. And let's just hopefully that can sort of be inspirational in how they go about it.
Yeah. And with your expertise, looking at the game that we've got ahead of us this evening, are you expecting it to be close? Do you think it's going to be a hard-fought battle between Argyle and Derby, or are you, maybe seeing Argyle perhaps naming no names?
I'm probably one of the worst predictors in the world, because if I'm saying it's going to be a nice tight game, it'll be a 5-5. But no, listen, I think they're always going to be edgy, and it's always going to be, sort of who can get that edge in that first 20 minutes. Very, very rarely that the team that starts brightest, do they lose. And, having that home advantage, just having that crowd behind them, and, let's hope that it is Plymouth and they go on to succeed.
Yeah. Now, before I let you both leave us, I'm hoping you're being well catered for this evening, and you've got
Definitely.
a nice back into the warm. Mark, you're up in the commentary box with Charlie, aren't you? So you'll be. I could see, from the warm coat there and the smarter coat here, there was an element at play as to who's going to be in the warm or not. Dare I push you for a score prediction, even though you've just said that you're famously not the best?
2-0.
2-0 to Argyle, of course. Yeah. Okay, great. Mark?
I'm going to go Argyle winning 2-1.
Fantastic. I mean, Pilgrim Pete predicted it correctly last week, and he's gone for 1-0. So I will be.
All those three results.
Yeah, I'll be tallying up all the scores. We'll see if anyone builds Pilgrim Pete this evening. Thank you so much, Steve and Mark, for joining us on Argyle TV.
Thank you.
Stay there for a second. Right, everyone watching at home, as I've just said, Mark will be joining Charlie on commentary duty in a minute. But let's hear now from Bali Mumba. The wing-back has been a revelation this season, and quite often does well when the Sky cameras are in town.
Mumba, urge to shoot, hits it well! Oh my goodness me! What a finish! What a goal!
The last 2 league games Well, we've been on Sky here. You've scored, Bali, so another one.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Looking forward to it. You know, hopefully I do get a good chance which falls to me, and hopefully I do take it. Yeah.
Why are we so good here?
I'm not sure. I don't know why, but it's probably because obviously we've got the home crowd, you know, behind us, you know, pushing us. Yeah, I think that's the main reason. You know, when you've got the noise behind you, you know, the support that we have here, you know, that's that extra boost that you need on the pitch, you know, as a player to help you just push that little bit more to, you know, to the final whistle to try and get something.
Have you ever played in any sort of age group team, any team where there has been a record like this? Of the matches we've played here, we've only dropped points twice.
No, this is the first time. The record here is crazy. Like, good record. You know, it shows, you know, what we're like at home, how much of a threat we are. You know, and you know, teams should be coming there, you know, knowing that it's a tough place to come to, you know, to get any points. So, but yeah, this is the first sort of experience I've had where a team at home who are so good and, you know, who are you know, really dangerous when they play at home.
You've got a smile on your face when you're talking about it. You quite often have a smile on your face anyway when you're playing. Yeah. How much are you just enjoying the ride at the moment?
Enjoying it a lot. You know, I'll say it's the best, probably one of my best seasons that I've had in my career, and yeah, it's definitely one to remember. As you can see, I'm always smiling, so it's, you know, sometimes it's hard to sort of take it in the moment, you know, because there's so many games happening and you're so focused. But then now and then when you sit back and you realise that the work that the boys have put in the position that you're in, you know, you feel so lucky and you feel so special. And, you know, I think hopefully, fingers crossed, come end of the season, I'll be able to cherish it and enjoy it more. For me, I think it's important to switch off, not switch off, but just to sort of sit back a bit and take it all in, take the experience in and where we are, you know, how close we are, for example. Sometimes I sit back and think, okay, we're so close, you know, it's just that last final push. Like I said, hopefully come end of the season, you know, there's a lot more to smile about, and you know, the smile doesn't stop.
Much like us on Argyle TV, and Bali Mumba, always smiling, isn't he?
He is, yeah. I think it's great to see, you know, why wouldn't he be as well? He's got, you know, a great job. He's here down in Plymouth, enjoying his football, playing in the winning team.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness, I think it's quite refreshing to see someone that, you know, clearly gets a lot of joy from playing, you know, and I think it rubs off on his relationship with the crowd. Part of that, I think, is being a wide player, you naturally get perhaps a bit closer because you're physically closer to the crowd and you get the benefit of that. But, you know, yeah, seeing him enjoy his game, being happy about what he's doing, and I think it's clearly that he's having a great time down here, and hopefully that continues the rest of the season.
Yeah, I've got 2 points to ask you about Bali Mumba, one of which is probably going to be slightly more difficult for you to answer, being a striker yourself. But how do people defend against players like him?
Yeah, I think for me, what he's good at is almost being unpredictable in a good way. Now, as defenders, that's really hard because the fact that he's very able on both feet. He can take you on both sides. He's got good delivery in terms of crosses with both feet. We've seen him score goals this season with both feet, you know, spectacular goals at times. So I think it is really hard, and I think maybe the thing that you would look to do as a fullback up against him is get tight to him so he hasn't got the space to operate.
Yeah.
But that can be hard because with him being a wing-back, he often receives the ball a bit deeper and he's able to build up that momentum. He'll always look to combine with players, so hopefully tonight we'll see him and Danny Mayer, who we'd expect to operate in that inside left area. You know, they can combine and create some opportunities down that left-hand side, and hopefully that can be really productive for Argyle.
And then second point, very quickly, and as a striker, would you like to see him supplying crosses? Yeah,
definitely. I think, you know, his ability to beat a player and to, you know, put a tempting ball in that you can run onto and finish, you know, it's definitely as a striker, that would be a good thing for me, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Right, we're getting ever closer to kick-off this evening. The time now 7:25. We will continue our build-up and hear from the Derby manager, Paul Warne, next.
Can you pledge 35 hours for Project 35?
Pledge 35 hours for Project 35.
Pledge 35 hours for Project 35.
This is Argyle TV, and we are now just under 30 minutes away from our kickoff tonight, Argyle against Derby County. Tonight's opponents are 10 points behind us in the table, and they can't really afford to drop points away from home again. After a great run over the New Year period, they have found themselves in with a chance, but manager Paul Warne knows they need to keep pace.
Big game. I mean, in fairness, you know, if we would have won Saturday, all this buts and maybes, but if we would have won Saturday and we were to beat Plymouth Tuesday night, it's game on, isn't it, to try and challenge the top three, let alone the top two, it's game on. However, we didn't win Saturday, and if we don't win tomorrow night, the likelihood of us becoming in the top two is less and less likely. Not impossible, but less likely. You need a lot of things to go your way. So we do need a positive result, and I do understand why, you know, as fixtures go, it's a big week. I know at the weekend, most of the top four, I think, is Ipswich, Bolton playing each other, and it might be Barnsley, Plymouth, I don't know, something like that. The connotations at the weekend are there's a lot playing each other. So if you could win Tuesday night and you could win Saturday, which are two very difficult games, you could be sitting here this time next week in a really good position. However, coulda, shoulda, woulda. We need to turn the coulda, shouldas into we dids.
What's the scouting report on Plymouth?
Well, you'd be surprised to know. I'm going to tell you they're quite good for two reasons. Every team in the league are quite good at their best, and our job is to show the lads Plymouth at their best and at their most weak, if that makes sense. It's not very good English, but they play two different ways. The way we think they're going to play, but they have an ability to play out. They also have a willingness, more so as the season's gone on, to play direct. They're happy to go into Cosgrove, for example. It's a really good physical presence. They have midfielders that run. They're really aggressive with their wing backs. They want to pressure, as do we, and it's an open game. So, for example, when they played Peterborough a few weeks ago, it was open. It could have been 8-8, really. And both teams are going for the win, and I expect the same against us. They're brave at home, as are we brave away from home. So it'll be a real tough game. They have mobility in the middle of the pitch. They have, you know, a really good age of players, a lot of good athletes, and some players I know of. Be a tough game, and they've been really good at home. I say this like I get things wrong. I apologise, but I think they've only lost to Port Vale at home in the league. They've beaten all the other top teams that have gone there, but all their games are really close. The way they play, they can score goals for fun, but they obviously concede them. But look, I'm not knocking them, because if I could win 3-2 every week, I'd take it. So I like the way they play, been together quite a while, got it sussed, and very, very difficult to play against, especially at their place.
As we get ever closer to kick-off, let's have a quick reminder of the teams playing this evening, starting as always with Argyle's lineup. It is as follows: Callum Burton, Macaulay Gillespie, Jordan Houghton, James Wilson, Matt Butcher, Joe Edwards, Ryan Hardy, Danny Mayer, Bali Mumba, Finn Azaz, Nigel Lonvike, and on the bench, Adam Park, James Walton, Niall Ennis, Michael Miller, Ben Wayne, Callum Wright and Jay Matete. Ryan Hardy, of course, starting again, started on Saturday. He's on good form at the minute, isn't he, Ian?
Yeah, absolutely. He's making himself undroppable, really. You know, we've spoken that there's been plenty of rotation. At one point, it was definitely the strikers that were almost the target of that rotation.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so he wasn't always getting that starting berth, but really his form, you know, means that he's the first name on the team sheet at the moment. Again, hopefully we can just create enough chances tonight that he gets on the score sheet again, and it's a positive result for Argyle.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be looking to get another goal this evening as well, hopefully. But, of course, he has to go up against the defensive nature of Derby, and their team looks like this for this evening. We've got Joe Wildsmith, Craig Forsyth, Conor Hurahan, Ian Cashin, Tom Barkhusen, David McGoldrick, Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, Corey Smith, Hayden Roberts, Harvey White and Jason Knight. And on their bench, Luke McGee, James Collins, Liam Thompson, Louis Sibley, Lewis Dobbin, Tony Springett and Curtis Davies. Now, before we hand away from commentary, and a quick word from you, we've spoken about, you know, how much I think this game means to all of the fans and the club itself, but it is important in terms of where the table might stand going forward, isn't it?
It is. You know, we said earlier on, it feels like it's more important for Derby to get the win tonight than it is for Argyle, but equally, if Argyle could put another marker down and take all 3 points tonight, it really does make a big statement in terms of the start of perhaps the run into the end of the season, puts a big dent in Derby's hopes and just makes that gap to them even safer than it perhaps looks at the moment. But as we said, Derby will really see this as a key game for them in getting their promotion push back on track, if you like.
When we had Steve and Mark here earlier, chatting to them, they Steve in particular emphasised the fact that maybe whoever kind of makes the first bid out of the gate this evening, first 20 minutes might be make or break for either team. Is that what you're expecting to see as well tonight, kind of a hard-fought battle from the opening minutes of the game?
Yeah, you look at the results going back through the season for the teams, and you'd expect there to be plenty of goals and for it to be quite an open game. I think with Argyle being at home, it would be great to see them come out with a really positive attitude right from the start. And as we said, with Ryan Hardy in the form that he's in, Danny Mayer and Finn Azaz can be creative and be the supply chain for him. That could be key for Argyle.
Yeah, those three names in particular, Mayer, Azaz, Hardy, I mean, they're certainly dynamic to watch on the pitch, aren't they? And they also provide some great opportunities for strikers like Ryan. Yeah,
it's important. The system that Argyle play, the onus is on Azaz and Mayer in tonight's lineup to be a force and to threaten the goal as well. So we know that Ryan Hardy's dangerous. We know he's Argyle's top scorer so far this season. It's really important that other people commit to getting in the box tonight as well. Put Derby under pressure. Let them know that why Home Park has been such a fortress for Argyle this season.
Yeah, I think you mentioned earlier as well, in regards to Derby, certainly not looking for a loss, but they may be willing to settle for a draw here this evening.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they will see that this is an important fixture for them if they want to keep their automatic hopes alive. But equally, a playoff place is not guaranteed for them at this stage. It's not really guaranteed for anyone other than perhaps Sheffield Wednesday, really, with the form they've been in. So I think for them, they'll see this as an opportunity to not only put pressure on the automatic places, pressure on Argyle especially, but also to put, again, kind of lay their claim amongst the playoff hopefuls with a good result for themselves, but hopefully we won't see that happen.
And as mentioned, with their previous form, 2 losses away from home, they've obviously got travelling fans in tonight as well that aren't going to want to see their side lose again after travelling all that way. Is that an element of pressure for them, or will they be using that more as fuel to really take Argyle, to the end?
Yeah, I think with a club like Derby, there's always pressure, particularly when they're in a division that perhaps as a club they don't feel like they should be in.
Yeah.
So coming away, you can already hear the noise from them. They've got a good following here tonight. They'll get behind the team. It's definitely up to Argyle to try and stop that and silence them early on with some good performances, create some chances, hopefully get on the score sheet early, and that can make the night slightly easier.
And I suppose, like for us on Saturday when we were, here off the back of a loss, looking at Saturday's game and then looking at this game coming up, Derby have got the Barnsley derby coming up on Saturday, which is a huge deal for them. So they're almost in a similar position to where we were at the weekend, aren't they, in terms of big games?
Yeah, they are. And they also had a disappointment at the weekend in terms of being 2-0 up against Shrewsbury and only getting a point out of their game. So they'll be looking to put that right. So it's a big ask. It's a tough test for Argyle tonight, but fingers crossed they can keep this home form going and we can see a win for them.
And then finally, Ian, what is the key for Argyle today? Do you think it's the link-up play, like you mentioned, between Azaz and Mayer and Hardy, or are we looking more kind of defensively, making sure that Derby don't get any opportunities? What are you looking for?
Both of those things, I think. Yeah, try to be greedy, but I think that it's definitely important we create those chances and allow Ryan Hardy the chance to show what a good finisher is, but equally, Derby are dangerous. They've got some good players. Dave McGoldrick in particular, we've highlighted his goal scoring, so it's important that we defend as a team, keep it solid at the back and try and restrict Derby to those chances.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking over at the top of the camera there. There are a few Derby fans in this evening. They'll be looking to bring some atmosphere to Home Park. I'm sure with the sellout stadium we've got behind me at Ian that we will be more than able to match them. But it's definitely building the atmosphere here this evening. Let's have a quick look to some of the other games that are happening around the league today. One's worth mentioning, Barnsley play Portsmouth and Ipswich are away at Accrington. We will, of course, bring you updates on the scores as we progress through the evening at half-time and at the end of the game. Right, it is just about 1:45, Ian. As you can see, the officials and the players are heading off the pitch to get ready for the game. So that is it here from us on Argyle TV. Ian, of course, will be joining me at halftime once again, but thank you, Ian, for the last 45 minutes. You can follow all of the action over on Argyle TV, and if you're watching overseas, you can stream live for just £10, and if you live inside the UK, commentary is available as well to stream for just £2.50. Head over to pafc.co.uk for all the information and where to buy your passes. Right, Charlie and Mark Edworthy are up in the commentary box, hopefully keeping nice and warm now. Ian, catch you in a minute. Everyone watching at home, catch you in, well, 45 minutes. And you've got Argyle versus Derby coming up next.
On the edge of the area, gets it onto his left foot, Mumba! Well, it's one of the most important weeks in Argyle season, this. We've already beaten Charlton, that was on Saturday. Tick. Two huge games, though, against promotion rivals to come. One tonight in Derby County, before Barnsley away on Saturday. Argyle 10 points clear of tonight's opponents. A win would stretch that to 13 with just 11 matches to go. Defeat, on the other hand, and it all squeezes together a little bit, doesn't it? Saturday's win showed guts and determination from the players. Stephen Schumacher said as much, and the confidence will be coursing through their veins as yet again we have a sold-out home park, and it's expectant. 15 wins from their 17 matches here, 46 points already accumulated at home, and a pretty watertight defence of late as well. Back-to-back clean sheets at the Theatre of Greens. They'll be hoping for something similar. As for Derby, well, you could argue they need the points maybe more than Argyle. Paul Warner said as much. The gap cannot get bigger. And they've hit a bit of a stumbling block recently. A 15-match unbeaten run in the league was ended by Wycombe just over a month ago, and they've only managed to pick up a couple of wins in the 6 games that have followed. Like Argyle, their home form has been the bedrock to their season, but just 5 wins on the road and defeats in their last 2 mean that they can ill afford that tonight. It is a big one at Home Park. We know that, the players know that, Home Park knows that, Mark Edworthy knows that.
Yes, good evening, Charlie. Yeah, this is a massive game. It really is. I know we say that every week we come to Home Park, but you know what a scope it is as well. Derby County, they brought down about 1,500 fans.